The Ottoman Empire, the last Sunni Caliphate, a vast Islamic empire spanning 3 continents and 8 centuries, leaving behind a prevalent legacy and the modern state of Turkey. So how did this world empire come to be? It has a humble origin as one of the many Turkic beyliks that dotted the Anatolian landscape after the crumbling of the Sultanate of Rum. But to look at how such a situation came to be, we have to go back in time a little bit. It's the year 1071 AD. The Byzantine Empire is still in control of a good part of Anatolia, this region right here, but that's about to change. The Battle of Manzikert, the culmination of Emperor Romanus' ruse to take back Anatolian territories lost to the Seljuk Empire, ended with a defeat for the Byzantines, which in itself was no apocalypse, but the civil war that followed the battle and the accompanying instability created a power vacuum in Anatolia, opening the door for an influx of Oghuz Turkic clans sent by the Seljuk Sultan to carve out realms of their own in Anatolia as vassals loyal to him. It's important to note here that Anatolia hasn't been Turkic since time immemorial. Prior to the period called Turkification, Anatolia was home to predominantly Greek, but also Armenian and Assyrian and Aramaic speaking peoples among others. Greek speakers weren't all ethnically Greek, just Hellenized locals. Prior to Manzikert, the Byzantines, who liked to exercise relocation of populations, had moved the better part of their Armenian noble vassals living in eastern Anatolia all the way to western Anatolia, thus leaving the east without any significant military governance. Add to that the instability following Manzikert, and the Byzantines were left with barely any border control in the east, allowing for an uncontrolled migration of Oghuz Turkic clans into Anatolia. Make note that even though wars with the Turks had ravaged the Anatolian population, leaving large parts of the land empty, the Turkification of Anatolia didn't rely so much on Turkic immigration, but on the local population converting to Islam and adopting the Turkic language over Greek, made possible by the weak hold of Greek culture over the local population, and the convenience of being an Islamic Turk in the new order of business. The leaders of the clan settling in the area were given the title of Uj Bey, or the Border Bey, a military ruler assigned to a border province to safeguard the border from invasions. One such ruler was Suleiman ibn Kutalmish, who would go on to found the Sultanate of Rum, and rule independently from 1077 onwards after a breakaway from the quickly crumbling Seljuk Empire. Fast forward nearly 2 centuries and we get to the era of Mongols, to whom the Sultan of Rum became subject in 1243. Rum went on to fracture to pieces between the 3 sons of the subjugated Sultan, to then recombine into 2, then one part again, and then the reign transferred to the young Sultan Kaikhosra III, who was a toddler. The Sultanate has started to fracture into beyliks, most of which stayed nominally loyal to the Sultan, delivering sermons or khutbahs in his name, but the real tangible power resided in the Mongol administrators of the region and Kaikhosra's regent, who was kind of a prick. One of the beyliks popping up was that of Osman I, who declared independence well after the death of Kaikhosra though. Speaking of which, by the time of his death, which happened by execution for rebellion when he was around 20 years old, Kaikhosra only controlled a small area of land around his capital Konya. Decades of internal strife followed his death, culminating in 1328 in the conquest of the last remaining territory of the Sultans of Rum by the Karamanid Emirate, who would later become the main rival of the Ottomans. Going back to the year 1300, we are looking at quite a patchwork extending all over Anatolia as the Turks had reached the Aegean coast yet again. The Germanids and Karamanids in central Anatolia are the most powerful among the many rulers, while the Ottomans, established around 1230 and an independent beylik since 1299, are still relatively weak. However, since 1280 they were reinforced by a constant influx of refugees fleeing from the Mongols, as well as holy warriors or Ghazis and Islamic mercenaries from all across the Muslim world, who were drawn to the Ottoman beylik next to the remnants of the Byzantine Empire. Osman I already expanded his state somewhat as a vassal of the Seljuk Sultan of Rum. In 1302, now as an independent ruler, he achieved an important victory over the Byzantine army of co-emperor Michael IX at the Battle of Baphius near Nicaea. Ottoman expansion alarmed the Byzantines, but they couldn't do much about it. They certainly tried. The Catalan Company, also called the Great Company, a mercenary company from, surprise surprise, Catalonia, even defeated Osman in battle in 1305, but the boss man, Roger the Floor, dreamt of his own realm in Anatolia and looted in Byzantine territories and was just a general annoyance. Thus he was promptly defeated and killed in battle against the Alan mercenary company working for the emperor. The Byzantines largely fled the Anatolian countryside, leaving it empty for Turkic immigrants. Meanwhile, Osman spent his reign expanding northward along the Sakarya River and southwest toward the Sea of Marmara, reaching the latter by 1308. Later that year, his followers helped capture the city of Ephesus, the last Byzantine coastal holdout, but ownership of it went to the Emir of Aden. In 1326, the Ottomans won the multiple-year siege of Bursa, their capital to be, as Osman died at the age of 75. He had, however, laid the groundwork to a state that would go on to dominate the region under his immediate successors.